So it's all about studying the right topics. And that's, again, making sure it's not other states' laws that you're studying. Just because it's for a real estate exam doesn't necessarily mean it's the Florida real estate exam. So that's number one. Make sure you're studying Florida laws. Number two, make sure what you're studying is accurate and correct. And number three, and this is probably the most important out of all of them, because number one and two should be a given, that number one, it's about Florida, number two, it's accurate, but number three, it's an important topic for the exam. You might have seen the FREC syllabus or the breakdown of percentages. If you have any of our exam prep tools, we've got that included in all of them there, where it gives you the breakdown of each chapter of which percentage is how much on the exam. And there's some chapters on the exam that are just 1%. If you look in textbooks and whatnot and what the Florida Real Estate Commission requires to be taught, and really there are, even in those 1% chapters, a lot of different things they could ask out of that 1% chapter, but it's still only going to be one question. Still only going to be one question on your exam out of that 1% chapter. Now, if there were 100 chapters and they were all 1%, then yeah, that would be fairly equal and fair. But it's not the case. There's the contract chapter, which is 12% of your exam. That chapter really isn't much longer, if at all, than some of these other chapters that are much lower percentages, but that's such an important topic that the Florida Real Estate Commission wants you to know, that makes up 12% of your exam. One of the longest chapters in the course, with the most dense, the most amount of information, but also it is another 12% chapter, is brokerage activities. So right there you've got 2 units, 2 chapters, contracts and broker activities, that make up a quarter, 24% technically, of your exam. And yet then you have 3 chapters that are just 1% each, or 3% of your exam, from 3 different chapters versus 2 chapters being a quarter of your exam. You see what I'm talking about here, about studying the right topics, not just trying to know everything. Look, the textbook you typically get for the pre-licensing course is like 500-600 pages long. It's a lot of information that's in there. And technically everything is fair game in that textbook, and if you want to make it your life's mission to make sure that you know that textbook cover to cover, front to back, that you know every last detail and you're confident that you know those details, you should have no problem passing. But that's going to be an immense undertaking. And it'd be one thing if, just getting the real estate license and passing the exam, you got paid for doing that. But no, you don't. You don't get paid until you've got the license and you're out there making some actual money with this. This is just that bar that the Florida Real Estate Commission wants you to be able to pass in order to prove that you have a minimal competence, that you're going to operate and practice legally in Florida.
You are watching Ask the Instructor.